Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be doing some competitive programming and we'll be doing a British Informatics Olympiad question. It will be taken from the 2016 paper and we'll be doing the first question. So let's have a look at the question. The question basically states that a palindrome is a word that shows the same sequence of letters when reversed. So like for example, like ABA would be a palindrome since if you reverse the letters and you go backwards, it will still be ABA. And similarly, like BBC will not be a palindrome since CBB is not the same as BBC. And if a word can have its letters grouped together in two or more blocks, then it is a block palindrome. And if reversing the order of these blocks results in the same sequence of blocks. Okay? And they've basically given a few examples. So I'll just let you have a quick read and then I'll explain what my understanding of the question is. Okay, so let's just go to the whiteboard. So pretty much what the question states is that if you have like a certain letters like 1, 1, this is a palindrome if you can group it in such a way that the first X letters are going to be the same as the last X letters, and then the second group of letters will be the same as the second last group of letters, and so on. So in this case, you can group it like so. 1, 1, since they're both equal. If you were to consider this string, BO or BB, you can group this in several different ways. For example, you could have B as one, this as another, and this as another, since all of them would be basically the same. Similarly, you could group these two together, these two together, and these two together. Okay? And I'll just show you one more quick example of all the possible ones which can be done. So let's just go back to the question and see what the result was. BBACBB. Okay. Okay, so one way we should group it is B, then BACB, and then B again. Since if you reverse it, you still get B, then the second group, which is BACB, and then the third group, which is B. Okay? And now, another possible one would be, oh god, okay, another possible grouping of this would be BA, then AC, then BB. Because if you consider this, if we write this as BA, BB, and then we write this as AC and BB, as you can see, this is the same as the original string. And then finally, the next group would be if you group B and then B over here, and then if you group B and B as separate, and then you group the middle block. Since, again, if you reverse it, it will be the exact same. So now that we understand the question, let's have a quick look at how to solve it. So pretty much, hopefully, as you were reading the question, like a potential idea for solving it, you probably thought like some sort of recursive code would be required. Since if we just go back to our example, BBACBB, first we basically need to check if a block palindrome is possible from the first letter, starting from the first letter. So when we check this, we also check the last letter. Now, the number of block palindromes for this string would basically be like the number of block palindromes for the smaller string, BACB, this substring within the larger string, plus a few other ones. Okay, I'll just repeat what I just said. So the number of block palindromes for this entire string will be the number of palindromes for the smaller string plus a few other ones. So let's consider for now what the number of block palindromes are for just the smaller string, BACBB. As you guys can see, there's only one. If you group B, and then if you group AC, and then if you group B again. That's the only block palindrome. So if this would be our input, our output would just be 1. But now, when we have 2 additional B's on the end, we have a bit more flexibility. Since, hang on, I'll just drop this out and then I'll explain why. So, pretty much, when we have these 2 additional letters, we also have the option of combining these 2 as one, like so, and then this is the third one. And we also have the option, I'll just do it from the top for clarity, of this, and then doing this, and then doing this. And then another one which we have is doing this, 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 and this. Okay, so pretty much the addition of this letter has caused these 2 options which weren't present in the original one, pretty much. So then, because if you look at it, this exact substring was present in our original BACB, and then, but then these 2 are 2 new combinations which have arisen from it. So that's pretty much the dynamic programming relationship. So for us to derive the number of possible block palindromes from this larger string, we need to first find out how many possible ones are there from BACB, and then which start at a certain letter. So that might not be so clear from my explanation, but I'm sure you'll understand when I show you my code. So we basically have this recursive function is palindromic, and we start from total. The total, it's an integer which we have initialized to 0. And how this works is total is the number of palindromes which are possible from that particular string, okay? And then we increment total based on the number of palindromes which are possible for the smaller substrings, okay? So this code basically iterates till the midpoint for I in range 1 length string divided by 2 absolute division plus 1. As you can see, it iterates through the midpoint. We start from 1, we don't start from 0, since if you look at line 4, if we start from 0, string 1 colon 0 would basically be nothing. But then colon 1 would just be the first one, which is exactly what we want. So what line 4 does is it compares the 2 identical parts on either side. So pretty much I is basically the length of the substring. And then if I is 2, for example, the two substrings on either side would be length 2 long. Okay? It compares these 2. If they're equal, then it's possible to form some sort of block palindrome, only if the smaller substring which doesn't contain those 2 is a block palindrome itself. So let me just explain what I just said a bit clearer. So consider this string B O A B. So then, if we didn't have that code checking, if we just added 1 to the total, ignoring this, that would still work, right? Because, regardless of whatever the middle string is, if there are 2 on the end which are the same, then you can just have the middle string as whatever, and you'll still have an odd number as 1, 2, 3. Odd number of substrings. Hence, when you reverse it to make it 3, 2, 1, it will definitely be the same, since first and third are equivalent, and the second remains in place. So that's basically why, regardless, we will always increment 1 to the total. But we increment 1, and we increment all the possible palindromic strings of the substring, and as we discussed. And now we need to do this for all substrings of different lengths taken from the ends, okay? So if we just go back to our previous example of BBACBB, and I'll just give a quick run through of how this code will work exactly. So it will basically initially start from checking B, you will see that both of these are the same, hence it will increment 1 to the total, and then it will call the function on this. And now, let's just go to see how it would work for BACB. Now for BACB, you would also see that it's possible for B and this to be a certain combination. So then it would increment 1 to BACB's total, and then recursively call AC. For AC, there's nothing possible. Hence, it will just not do anything. It will just add 0 basically, and then it will return it back to this. Now the total number of block palindromes for this is now 1, which will then increment back here, and now the total for BACB has now been incremented by another 1. Okay, and now let's just look at the next combination which we'll look at. So, let me just erase this for clarity. Now we've finished looking at the possibilities when the substring is the leftmost and the rightmost. So now all the length 2 substrings, such as BB and this. So now BB and BB are the same, okay? So then we'll add 1 to the total, and then recursively call it for AC. Now for AC there's nothing, which means we'll add 0, and then we'll move it back here. Hence, we add nothing to the total. And now the third thing we look at is BBA, CBB. Now there's nothing over here as well, hence we're finished. Our total will be 3. So that's basically how our code will work. We'll return the total, and then that will basically be it. We'll accept the input and we'll test if it works. So now if I just go to the code and test it on the side of input, we just see BBACB. Oh, sorry, I'm actually running the wrong code. But yeah. It will basically give us 3. And now what I was saying is that how it works with the ACB, it will give us 1, which is exactly what it gives us. So now if we basically test it on some of the other sample inputs which they've provided us. So let's test it on 7 Ks. Basically gave us 7. If we see what's over here, 7 is the expected output. 10 A's. It gives us 31, which is again the expected output. So as you can see, our code does indeed work. Now that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new about the recursive code. It was quite an interesting question in that sense. I had to think about the recursive elements of it, and hopefully you'll be able to apply these learnings to other questions. I hope to see you in another video. Thank you very much for watching.